Good morning, everyone. I am sorry I am late. I am 2 minutes late. I had a few computer glitches. I apologize for that. I'm thrilled to see you all here. Let me just start the live stream on Facebook, and we can get started with Free Advice Friday. I'm thrilled to all see you here. Let's see who's on this morning so far. Lynn, good to see you. Ray, wow. I got your questions here. Looking forward to answering them. Wendy, both Wendy's, my two favorite Wendy's. So that's wonderful. Let's see what's going on in the chat box. Wendy H. Jones, not Wendy Jones. Wendy H. Jones is saying hi. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. All right, let me get started with just start streaming, and then we will get to all of your questions. And again, I apologize for being late this morning. A little bit of a nutty tech issue. There we go. Let's make sure everything's working beautifully. All right, let me get your questions up. Fabulous. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. Questions. All right, well, let's get started. Ray, because you sent the most recent question, we're going to get started with you. We've got a lot of people on this morning. Quick question, if you guys can hear me okay, we've had so many tech issues. If you can hear me okay, if I'm coming through loud and clear, could you go to the Q&A box? You should see it right, for most of you, it's right on the bottom in the bar. It says Q&A. Could you go to the Q&A box and say hi? Give me a one or a thumbs up or a how you doing? Just kind of let me know if you guys can hear me okay. All right. Wendy can hear me all the way from Scotland. How about that Ray can hear me from Germany? How about you U.S. folks? Can anyone hear me okay? We doing all right? All right. I do not know why the live feed is not working right, so let me try one more time, and then we will get started. Man. Oh, I love technology. Love technology. Share on a page. New shelves. All right. I found out something interesting this week, something that a lovely woman, I met a woman named Vicki Fitch. She's out in California. I met her in, go live. I met Vicki when I was in San Diego speaking at an event. And she and I have been chatting. We've developed a new friendship, and we've been setting some sessions up. And she explained to me that I was breaking all sorts of rules on Facebook. So I am merging all of my various pages into one. And that is what's going to be happening going forward. So if you guys see a lot happening from me on Facebook and you think, aren't I already friends with Amy on Facebook? It's really me. That's happening. All right, so let's get right to your questions. Good morning. Ray is asking about Pinterest. No, she's not. I'm sorry, she is going to ask about Pinterest, but it says she has some, Ray has written an illustrated book, not for kids. It's kind of an illustrated ballad poem book. With a very lovely theme. And she wants to know about how to turn her illustrations and her text, her words, her advice, her guidance, her stories into pins on Pinterest. There is a course that I took by John Kramer. I don't know if you guys know John, but his last name is spelled K-E-R-M-E-R. No, it's K-R-E-M-E-R. K-R-E-M-E-R. John is brilliant. He wrote a book called 1001 Book Marketing Ideas. And John has a class on how and exactly how to get traction on Pinterest. I will drop the link into my webpage right after this Free Advice Friday. Underneath this video, you guys will see a link. Let me make sure I write that down, to John Kramer's Pinterest class. I think, and he offers a 1-hour video on Pinterest totally for free online. Kramer Pinterest. So Ray, I am not a Pinterest expert, I'm afraid. How to get traction on Pinterest, I hire people to do that. I have an amazing woman that I use who does my Pinterest work. Her name is Stacy. I adore her. I have another woman that I've just started using who helps me with Instagram. Now, these are my posts. I do them, but they guide me. They teach me. Everything that you see online is me. When someone responds, that's me. But I need a little help sometimes with the posting, and I don't have time to build all of the pins. So they take my content and they create them for me. So I don't know enough about Pinterest to answer your question, which is a lovely way to start out Free Advice Friday by saying, I don't know, but I can get you an answer. John Kramer, Kremer. And if you go to the replay to newshelves.com, newshelves.com/FAF for Free Advice Friday, in a few hours, you'll see this video and a link to John's Pinterest video that you can watch for free on the internet. He's a great guy. So, sorry that I couldn't answer that more. Okay, Ray is also asking about hashtags, and I do know about hashtags. She's got a book about, she's got a thought leadership book. She wants to do workshops, and she does do workshops online, and, in and around the theme of her book. And when she's asking people to tweet to a very general hashtag, or does she tweet to her specific hashtag? Okay. The advice that I'm going to give anyone about hashtags right now is for people who are not brilliantly famous. Okay, so if Marianne Williamson or if Michelle Obama's listening, this is not advice for you. But for the rest of us who nobody really knows, nobody in the world, I mean, I know you guys love me, but nobody in the world is out there searching on hashtag Amy Collin is brilliant, or hashtag New Shelves Rocks, or hashtag book marketing Amy Collins, isn't she awesome? None of those are good hashtags, by the way, too long. But having people try and trend on my hashtag is a second or third step down the road. I use hashtags right now so that people can discover me. So when I am speaking in public or when I am doing a webcast, I will beg people to share this webcast. Right now, those of you who are watching me live on Facebook, I would love it if you know any authors who might find my advice helpful, or who you think might want to ask questions themselves that I will answer for free every Friday. Please share this video. Just click right below where it says share and tell people that I do this every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. But hashtags aren't really appropriate for Facebook. So for those of you who are watching this on YouTube or on some other platform where hashtags do make more sense, and Ray, when you're out speaking, I would strongly recommend that you ask people to use a hashtag that's already trending, that's already getting traction. So if you're at an enormous conference, when I was at the London Book Fair, I hashtagged the London Book Fair 19 hashtag that everyone was tagging, because everybody was searching on London Book Fair hashtag, and they ended up discovering a number of my posts because of that. If you are at a big conference where tons of people are hashtagging the conference hashtag, that's what you should ask them to hashtag. But have them tag you in their posts. I have a little trick that I do, and for those of you who have seen me live, you've seen me do this because I do it all the time. But when I stand up in front of an audience, I put on my PowerPoint presentation my Twitter and Instagram handle. It's New Shelves Books. It's not hard. New Shelves Books. It's the same handle everywhere. And I ask people to tag me if they're going to post on Instagram, or tag me if they're going to post on Twitter, and to hashtag whatever the event is that I'm at. And I laugh and I tell people, here's the deal. Take a picture of me presenting, say something. I don't care what you say. Be honest about what you think about what I'm saying, or quote something I said. And I tell people the most flattering photo of me that goes up online where I'm tagged, the most flattering photo will get a free hour of consulting. And then I warn them that the least flattering photo will also get a free hour of consulting. And they won't know which one they are, but the least flattering photo, I will not be a very good consultant. And it's a joke, of course. But by offering an hour of consulting, I can encourage a room of several hundred people to take pictures and to share about my advice that they're learning from that session. It's not I'm not pushing it. I'm not being obnoxious. I'm saying, hey, if you're going to take a picture and share on social media anyway, please make sure that you tag me. Here's my name, @NewShelvesBooks. Hashtag the event or don't, but if you're going to share something, make sure you tag me, because that, then I'll know. And then I do pick the most flattering photo, the one I like the most, and I do offer them free consulting. And it's a fantastic way, because now thousands and thousands of people are seeing my advice, they're seeing my picture, and they don't need to search for me. They've tagged me. So that is my advice to you when you're speaking live. If, for those of you, as I said, who are watching this as a replay on YouTube, if you tag me, and my YouTube tag is Amy Collins. If you tag me @Amy Collins and share this on YouTube, or if you share it on Twitter @NewShelvesBooks, and all of those tags I will put right below. If you're watching this as a replay, you're seeing those tags right now across the bottom of the screen. Now, those of you watching me live don't see them because I haven't done the editing yet, but tag me on one of those platforms, share this video, and again, I would be thrilled to pick one of you a week and offer a free hour of consulting. See how I did that, Ray? I just encourage tons of people to share my video on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, I don't care where, but make sure they tag me so I can see it, and bam, I just got a lot more lift. I hope you guys find that helpful and that you used that example and you'll be able to use it yourself. If there's further questions about how to do stuff like that, catch me up. Fine. All right. Oh, JD Covert. I know your real name. Lovely to see you. All right. Stephen is asking a couple of questions here. Follow-up question to a previous question. Let me just see what he's asking. He'd like to use his book as a promotional tool for companies. Do you know of any resources to connect with companies? Yes. Brian Judd. Now, I don't know how successful Brian is, but I do know that I like Brian personally. He's got a lot of good advice. He spends a lot of time with APPS. I think that, yes, APPS, Associated Professional Publishers, something syndicate. I don't know what APPS stands for. But Brian Judd, J-U-D, has a wonderful organization and quite a bit of advice on his website about how to connect with companies and corporate sales. He seems to be the guy, the expert. And so, Stephen, I would strongly recommend that you go to Brian Judd. I will also put Brian's website on this video as well. Stephen is asking if I can describe the subscription program, Bestseller Builders course. Well, thank you, Stephen. Bestseller Builders is a very intense 6-month, we do everything for you program. It costs tens of thousands of dollars over 6 months. We charge about $5,000 a month, but we do everything for you. Everything. Social media, reviews, media, press. We get you readers. We build your web page. We do everything. We do. If you need help getting your book printed, we do everything. We are your complete package for 6 months to help you either launch a book or relaunch a book or launch your career. But we also have a course. It's not really a subscription program anymore. Now it's a one-time purchase where for $497, you can get all of the videos, all the tutorials, everything that we use in our courses. And if you want to learn how to get reviews, you can watch those videos. If you want a database of where all the top reviewers are, they're right there. If you want a database of templated letters so that you can pitch yourself to libraries, they're there. We don't have the library database. That's part of another course. But I will send you guys a link to that webpage where you can, it's a one-time purchase, it's lifetime membership, and you get all the materials that we normally use every day. All right, Denise is asking, she's finishing up a children's book. Oh, she just became a grandmother. Congratulations. She wants to get a PCIP from the Donahue Group for the copyright page. Does she need to do anything with the Library of Congress, a PreControl number? Great question. For those of you who are not exactly sure what a Library of Congress number is, a PreControl number from the Library of Congress, and a PCIP code, I have a very long, very detailed explanation on my blog, newshelves.com/blog. I'm going to answer you here, but for those of you who want a much deeper answer than what I'm about to tell Denise, go to newshelves.com/blog, And up in the upper right-hand corner is a search bar. Just type in the phrase LOC, PCIP, any of those. It'll bring you right to the blog that explains all this in detail. But here's the short version. The Library of Congress is not obligated in any way to list any book. They are not, I mean, I know they call themselves, and we call them America's Library, but they're not. That's not what they were originally designed to do. So please do not assume that just because you've created a book, they're in any way obligated to list you or help you. They're not. The Library of Congress is where copyrights are placed, but they're not the ones who make any of the Library of Congress decisions or the PCIP decisions. A copyright is different. So here's what, Denise, I would suggest you do. If you are publishing a children's book on your own, I would recommend that you go to the Library of Congress. You can go right to their website. It's LOC, I think it's .gov. I'll get the website together and I will post it. But you go to the Library of Congress website and you apply for a PreControl number. The reason why I'm telling Denise to apply for a PreControl number is this. The Library of Congress will only give a book a Library of Congress number, an LCN, if the book is being published by a publisher that is approved by the Library of Congress. And to be approved by the Library of Congress, this is right according to them, I did not make the rules, do not get mad at me. To be approved as a publisher, your publisher needs to have a minimum of 4 books by at least 3 different authors. 4 books by 3 different authors. That's the minimum. And if Denise's publisher, of which, she's got her own publishing company, does not have that, then she's not going to be able to get a Library of Congress number. That is different from a copyright. I'm getting to that. So because she can't get a Library of Congress number, she needs to get the ball rolling. Perhaps Denise knows she's going to someday own a publishing company that has at least 4 books by 3 different authors. So she should get a PreControl number. Go to the Library of Congress, go right online and apply. It takes moments. It doesn't take long for a PreControl number. A PreControl number is a placeholder. It's like putting a pin in it. They do this. Wendy, this just is the U.S. Sorry, Wendy, just the U.S. I'll be with you in a second. I'll totally talk about the U.K. in a moment. So the PreControl number, it starts the ball rolling. If Denise eventually is going to have more books, a PreControl number bumps her to the front of the line because the Library of Congress will then look at all the PreControl numbers she's registered and see that it's at least 4 different books by 3 different authors, and she's not going to have to wait so long to start getting Library of Congress numbers. I hope that makes sense. There's a deeper explanation at newshelves.com/blog. And when it comes to copyright, that's a completely different thing. Yes, you should file for a copyright. No, you should not pay anyone to do this for you. I mean, you can pay an assistant to do it for you. But giving someone a couple $100 to register a copyright is ridiculous. It's a super easy form to fill out and just mail in. So fill out your own copyright paperwork, mail it in. As for the PCIP, a publisher in catalog, publisher catalog in publications block, publisher catalog in publications block. A PCIP is a little bit different. That is a block of data that has been created by a librarian who has been vetted and who has been trained and who is allowed to import all of the data about your book that they have vetted. If they create this block for you, they are telling the world and they are telling the international library community, which is housed in something called a MARC database, M-A-R-C, MARC, M-A-R-C database. And if you can get a PCIP created by a third party, there's several of them out there. I like the Donahue Group because they have a direct line into the MARC database. Some PCIP people, they'll hire a librarian and they'll create the data for you, but they can't get you into the database. The database is key. This block of data, which has Dewey Decimal System and it's got your ISBN and what edition it is and what the author's name is and other books that they've done and when they were born and when they died, if they died. It's got everything. It's a huge block of data that librarians need to put your book in their databases. And if a librarian opens a book and sees a PCIP block on your copyright page, they love it because they know they don't need to look anything up. They don't need to vet it. They don't need to think. They just need to copy those letters down because it's already been done by a librarian who's been approved by the library industry. So I hope that's helpful. A CIP block is that exact same thing, catalog and publication block, which is different from a PCIP block, except the only difference is the Library of Congress will do it for you for free. A PCIP block, you usually have to pay a company to do it for you because it takes them a while to pull that together. All right. Stephen is asking if I know of any resources to get a virtual assistant, especially platforms. He used to use Upwork. Yeah, Upwork is getting weird, don't you? Stephen, I don't use Upwork or platforms anymore. I put calls out on social media. I have a woman named Stacy Ducker who I adore. I met her through a client. Luana is fantastic. I really like her. Kelly Johnson from Cornerstone Media, also a good one. There's 3 VAs right there that I can recommend. But in terms of services, I don't go through services. I want to hire someone directly. That's how I feel. I'll put a call out on social media. Some of my author friends who have VAs that they adore will share their names with me. One of the VAs that I met because Daniel Hall, who's a buddy of mine and we do business together, his VA, Luana, he loved her so much and he loved the work she did, he recommended her to me. So that's what I would recommend. Stacy Ducker, Luana, Kelly Johnson from Cornerstone VA. Kelly's fantastic with tech. Luana is really, really good with customer service, and Stacy is fantastic with sales pitching. She is so good at pitching media and stuff. Those are 3 I'd recommend right there. Wendy's saying when she checks for posted replay, it's never the current one. It's usually a week or 2 behind. Wendy, I do my best. I'm sorry. I try to get them up, but sometimes I can't. For instance, I'm a week behind right now. I will try very hard to get this one up in the next day or 2. But these are always a week or so behind, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry. It's just me and Anna and Carrie, and we get a little behind sometimes, but they're coming. They're coming. Let's see. Hey, how you doing, Linda? Wendy is agreeing with my advice about copyright, and I love that. Let me see if there's any questions here on... I don't see any questions on Facebook Live, so that's fine. Let's see if there's any. Okay, well, we are good there. So let's see if there's any other questions that can be. Stephen is saying he has a book with about 12 reviews, and the book's about 15 months old. Would I please discuss the pros and cons of getting more reviews to the current book or making a second edition with minimum changes with a new ISBN and getting reviews from scratch? Please include in the pros and cons. Whew, Stephen, wow. The book marketing sales. Okay, Stephen, I can't do all of this. Sorry, this is a 4-hour course that you're, and I'm happy to answer in little bits. But let me start with this. If you have a 15-month-old book, it is too soon, I believe, to start worrying about a second edition. So I'm just going to take that off the table. Once your book is 3 years old or older, sure. But you still have a lot of life left in a 15-month book. And if you're not going to make any substantive changes, and I know a little bit about you and your book, we've chatted, I adore you, but it's too early. Now, if your book needs a serious update after 15 months, for those of you who have written a book about tax preparing and all the laws have changed, of course you should do a next edition. But if you're simply just trying to put a new edition out to freshen up your book, which is not a bad idea, guys. I'm a big fan of that idea. I do it all the time for people. 15 months is a little soon. You've got tons more life in your book. Yes, you need more than 12 reviews. You need about 100 more reviews than that. You should have 120, 130 reviews at 15 months at the least. So go get them. You know, there are tons of resources out there that will allow you to get reviews. You can lower the price of your ebook to 99 cents and start doing, different discount promotions and encouraging people to write reviews there. You can ask people to write reviews on Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble you couldn't write a review on B&N unless you bought the book. They've changed that. Now you can. You can send someone free or low-cost ebooks, and they can go on Barnes & Noble and write a review, and it'll post whether or not they bought it from B&N. So writing reviews online on blogs, writing reviews for IndieBound and independent bookstores, writing reviews on Amazon. You guys know, you've heard me say this, all of you on the phone, and if you haven't, I think we must just be new friends. You need to be asking for reviews every day, without fail. Okay, you can take the weekends off. But Wendy H. Jones, sitting in Scotland, she is world famous mystery writer. The woman's got chops. She should be out asking for reviews every day. She should be emailing somebody. She should be chatting with someone. She should be offering it on Facebook, one of her books for 3 days only to download review copies and she should be then emailing the people who downloaded the review copies and emailing them and asking what they thought of the book and would they like to write a review. Because if you post your ebook, your PDF, your Mobi on a site like Book Connect or Book Funnel, you can then have the email addresses of anyone who downloaded the book, and you can then encourage them to write a review. All right, let's see if we have any other. We don't have any questions on Facebook that I see. I wonder if Facebook Live is working. We'll have to see when I'm done. That's fantastic. Other questions, guys, keep asking questions in the Q&A box. I love this. Yes, Wendy, copyright, yes. Can I list the 3 recommendations for VAs in the chat box? I absolutely can. That is a great idea. So for those of you who are watching me on a replay or watching me on Facebook Live and are saying, where is this Q&A box that she's talking about? What's this chat box? If you go to newshelves.com right now and go to newshelves.com/FAF, newshelves.com/FAF for Free Advice Friday, you'll see a big red button. Click it. You'll be able to register to participate live on my webinar program, which is called Zoom, but you can participate live and you can chat with us. There's dozens of people here live with me online in this webinar. They're asking me questions. We're interacting. I'm able to drop stuff into the chat box, including Kelly Johnson. Why is my keyboard not working all of a sudden? All right. We are having tech issues like crazy today. I am sorry. I will do my best. Cornerstone VA. There you go. There's one. And Luanna Rodham is another. You can find her. She's a Facebook friend of mine. Find her on Facebook. Tell her I said hi. And then there's Stacy Ducker. She's with Sapphire. I think I'm spelling Sapphire wrong. But, there's their names. I will get you contact information, but there you go. Bum, 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 bum. Ray is saying that she noticed that books about LinkedIn often has the LinkedIn logo on the cover, but they don't seem to be co-branded by LinkedIn. If your book is about how to do something on LinkedIn, can you put their logo on your cover? Ray, I do not know. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again. I made a mistake a couple weeks ago, and I thought I knew a copyright answer, and I was wrong. I'm not going to do that again. I would suggest that you ask a copyright legal lawyer. There is a woman named Jane Friedman. I will put her name in the chat box as well. Jane Friedman has a fantastic website. I believe it's janefriedman.com. And Jane Friedman has tons of copyright answers there. She's a fantastic resource when it comes to editorial, legal, and copyright issues. She used to be the executive director of Writer's Digest. The woman knows her stuff. Go to Jane Friedman. Just Google her or go to janefriedman.com. She's got a fantastic subscription service called The Hot Sheet with great articles that I strongly adore and recommend. But Jane Friedman would be able to answer your questions. Rhea, I do know the answer to this. If you need samples of bad text off the internet that you're going to edit, you need to make up your own. If you don't want, you have to get permission from the people whom you're quoting from the internet. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that you can take it. Now, if someone posts a review on the internet or if someone posts on a public forum, I know you can use that without their permission, but if you're going to use something in a publication that you're going to sell and make money from, you are in very sticky waters. You need to either make up your own, just make some up and design them so they look like, or get a hold of the people and ask for permission and have them sign a release. Making money on someone else's words, sticky wicket. I wouldn't want you guys to get into. So Linda is telling me that ALLI, I love Allie. Orna Ross has this fantastic organization called Ally, ALLI. They're an organization based out in London, but they just came out with all new copyright info for the US, UK, other countries. Linda, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for that. So for those of you who are interested, I am going to type Ally's name into the chat box. There you go. So Ally would be another fantastic resource besides Jane Friedman. All right, let's see if let me just quickly go through these questions and see if there's any others that we can answer. I'm going to dismiss. Wendy, it's awesome. JD Covert, great to see you. Adore your books. Stephen, thank you so much for your questions. I hope I'm answering them all. John, yes, Brian Judd is who to go for. And Denise, we talked to. Stephen, virtual assistant we talked about. Articles about getting book reviews. Yes, go to Joan Stewart's site at publicityhound.com. Let me drop that into the chat box. Publicityhound.com. Or you can go to buildbookbuzz.com. Sandra Beckwith. Both of these women are brilliant. And they have tons of resources on how to get book reviews, how to get press pitches. Stephen wants to know if I have a launch checklist to help launch a book. I do. So let me jot that down. In the next week or so, I'll make sure that under this replay, I'll put the launch checklist. It's on my website, newshelves.com/store, but I don't know if it's actually up as free right now. So let me change that around. Newshelves.com/store. I'll get that up to you, Stephen. Let's see. Resources to be able to find conferences to speak at. For those of you who are interested in speaking at conferences, I'll tell you how I do it. Google. Sorry, there's no resource. I mean, there is, but you pay for it. I hire a lovely young woman who I pay $20 an hour. She sits out in my lobby and she's got her own office. She works for me, but you guys can hire someone for $20 an hour in your own hometown, so a college kid or a sister-in-law or somebody, to get online and start Googling conferences that match your needs. There's really no easy way to do this. You can do it while watching reruns of Game of Thrones. You can get someone else to do it, but get online. Start Googling for me, it would be writers' conferences and real estate conferences and financial planner conferences, because those are the people who like to work with me. I can help them do books and help them launch their stuff. And so writers and business people, and I see the conferences and I'll take a look at who's speaking and and I'll take a look at the sessions and I'll say, man, I could fit in there and I could help. And then I contact those people. I'm afraid there's no easy way to do it, but that's how I do it. I take a look at the conference. I have someone else at least find the conference for me, but then I go through. I make sure I'd be a good fit. I do not spray and pray out an email to 37 conferences. I don't do that. One at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. All right, I've listed the VAs. I don't know about LinkedIn logo. I'm sorry. I do know that it's not a good idea to grab text off the internet. Linda, thank you for that information. Denise, I do have a copyright page example on my website. And it's posted in a blog, but you know what I'll do is I will bump that blog to the top of the list by Monday. Copyright page. I would be happy to show you an example of a copyright page of one of my books. All right. Stephen, you can't find the chat resources after the webinar. Just you can cut and paste them right now, though. You guys can go to the chat box and just hit Control-A if you're a PC or whatever Mac people do to highlight it all. Copy and paste it into a Word document. I don't know how to get chats to you guys afterwards, but I will put all these notes and all of these people that you've been asking me about. I've been writing it down. I will get it on the replay at newshelves.com/FAF. All right. Man, I talked a lot today. Wendy wants to know about advice on how to get their books noticed from a different country. Wendy, if you're talking about over here in the U.S., it's stuff you and I have talked about before. It's all about ads. Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, promoting your posts, advertising. Now, Wendy, you're coming over to the States, and we've got 3 events booked for you so far, and I know you've got a couple of events booked. But if you're going to be touring over here, that's going to allow you to get a lot of press. But if you're in Australia or the UK and you want to get noticed in the US, it's tough to get press over here unless there's a reason. With Birdie the Buffalo, it makes a lot of sense, Wendy, for you to do your tour and with your mystery books. But for those of you who aren't going to be spending 8 weeks over in the US like she is, do promoted posts on Facebook, promote posts on Instagram, push yourself on YouTube and on Pinterest. Quiet, organic, intelligent, smart advertising is it's an art form, but if you let your own personality shine through, if you create a couple of videos that really highlight who you are and why people might find you helpful or might find your books appealing or entertaining, you can then boost those and promote those with just a few dollars and get a lot more readers and a lot more fans. I will actually be teaching a class on this and how to use online advertising for new and emerging authors online in a few weeks in my Bestseller Builders program. So for those of you who are interested in joining the Bestseller Builders program, when I get back next week to Next Free Advice Friday, I will make sure that I have with me the webpage where you can watch a video about what that's all about. Because, again, it's a one-time purchase, which gets you to see all the videos and all the classes that I teach on these. These Free Advice Fridays are mainly to try and just be helpful because I get so many questions emailed in every week that I'm afraid I can't answer them all. So what I've started doing is answering them here on Free Advice Friday as a way to kind of get caught up and not be a bad person who doesn't answer questions. All right, let's go back to the emails. Wendy wrote a question. Let's see. She wished she knew about my 6x9 advice. Last week I was saying 6x9 is pretty much the kiss of death for a self-help book. She went with 6x9 because on Amazon it doesn't really matter, but since I strongly advised against having a 6x9 for libraries, should she get it reformatted to 5.5 by 8.5? It seems getting held up with fixing and changing things. Yes, Wendy, I know you and I know your book a little bit. It is worth it. 6x9 in your genre in particular. If you've written a novel, if you've written a self-help book and Lulu or Author Solutions or KDP/CreateSpace kind of push you towards 6x9, that's because 6x9 is the easiest for them. It's not the best for you. And if you go right now and look at all the books that Random House and HarperCollins and Simon & Schuster are putting out, they're not 6x9. So for those of you whom money is no object or who think that this might be worth it, yes, I would recommend that you lay out your book in a smaller format. Take a look at what the best-selling books are formatted at right now, what their size is. I go to the USA Today bestseller list every quarter, and I make a list, and I post it. The next one is going to come out in September. But I make a list of what the best trim sizes are according to what the big houses are publishing in. It's not hard to do that research. Go to Barnes & Noble or your local bookstore or hop on Amazon and take a look at all the books that are in the bestseller list or the top selling books on Amazon and see what the top publishers are doing and how they are formatting the books. All right. All right, let me look at other questions. Copyright questions, thank you for that. All right. That is not a question. Okay, I think we answered all of the questions that were emailed me this week. I believe I've answered all the questions that you fine people have asked me online, and I believe that I hit everyone up in the chat box. Woohoo! We did it. All right. I will see you back here next week on Free Advice Friday. Please, 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 if you're watching this live on Facebook, hit share. I'd love it if you'd pass this on to some of your author friends or business friends. We do this every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube or on any other social platform, please like it and share it. It would be a huge help to me. I hope to see you guys next week. It's the 5th of July, which is not exactly a holiday here in the States, but I'll come in even though it's our long weekend, and I will see you next Friday on Free Advice Friday. Thanks, guys.